Hi, I'm John Weeks, and this is the Standards Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, some bad news for Boulders Gate 3 fans. But first, China has been accused of a malign cyber attack on Britain. The UK government claims the country accessed millions of voters' personal details during a hack on the election watchdog. The hackers are said to have accessed the names and addresses of anyone in Britain who was registered to vote between 2014 and 2022. The UK is poised to sanction those believed to be involved in Chinese state-backed interference. Ocean conservation charity the Blue Marine Foundation is taking the UK government to court over claims it allowed overfishing. According to the charity, the government repeatedly set fishing opportunities, aka the specific legal entitlement to fish based on quantity or area, higher than scientific advice.
We have once again allocated 50% of all the fishing opportunities above scientific advice for this year. That's a lot.
That's Charles Clover, co-founder of the Blue Marine Foundation. The charity said it's technically illegal under post-Brexit fishing law and will harm both the marine ecosystem and the livelihoods of future fishers.
In some cases, it could lead to species disappearing from UK waters for good. For example, the Celtic sea cod, which the government and the EU, in their wisdom, have allocated a quota which is equivalent to the entire spawning population.
In response, a spokesperson from the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs said the catch limits have been set in line with obligations under the Fisheries Act 2020 and the Joint Fisheries Statement. They also said that they've pushed for decisions to be based on the best available science to protect key stocks, using evidence from the International Council for the Exploration of the Sea. Some parents have described the online harassment of girls as normal, according to a study by online safety charity Internet Matters. The study was based on 12 in-depth interviews with teenage girls and parents, carried out from November last year to January by BMG Research. A mother with a 15-year-old daughter said in an interview with Internet Matters that sexually explicit images from men are so standard it's not noteworthy, and they just block it and move on. The charity found that 77% of girls aged 13 to 16 in the UK report digital experiences that are or may be harmful. The charity's CEO Carolyn Bunting is calling for a public campaign to reset expectations about appropriate behaviour online, and said there needs to be a much greater focus on tackling the problems at their roots, including confronting the minority of boys and men who think it's okay to harass girls. Now, bad news for gamers. There will be no downloadable content, expansions or sequels for the critically acclaimed Boulders Gate 3. It won 6 prizes at the Game Awards in 2023, including Game of the Year, Best Role-Playing Game and Best Multiplayer Game. However, its director Sven Vinker made the shock announcement at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco that there will be no additional content. Sven said the studio, Larian, did actually start work on creating downloaded content and even considered doing a sequel before cancelling it all to focus on other projects. There's a new app that scientists reckon could help people cut down on unhealthy drinking. It's called Drinkless, and research found that those who used it reduced their alcohol intake by an extra 2 units a week, compared to those who followed standard NHS advice. The app is free and is designed to help high-risk drinkers by letting them set goals, record how much they drink, and log their mood and sleep quality after drinking. A study by University College London involving more than 5,000 people found those randomly recommended to use the app reduced their drinking by 39 units a week at 6 months. Coming up, how global warming's forcing plants uphill, and the liquid lens shades that help you read. Welcome back. A new technique that can diagnose esophageal cancer within seconds is undergoing clinical trials. Surgeons are using a smart probe that uses light to pinpoint cancerous tissues or cells in the food pipe almost instantaneously. Using this technique, a low-power laser is shone into the esophagus, allowing medical experts to measure the light scattered by the tissues. The light changes depending on if it's on healthy or diseased tissues, meaning precancerous or cancerous tissues can be detected rapidly. At the moment, it takes up to 2 weeks for a diagnosis, But with this new tool, it can take 30 seconds, speeding up access to early treatment. Scientists say plants are moving uphill as a result of global warming. Experts from the universities of Exeter and Campinas, the Royal Botanic Garden Edinburgh and Trinity College Dublin examines the movement of plants in Brazil's Cerrado savanna. It's home to 3.5% of all flowering plants, approximately 12,000 species, a similar diversity level to the Amazon rainforest. The researchers found that the fate of plant species over the next decade will depend on where they live. Lowland species can move uphill for cooler conditions, but mountain plants have nowhere to go. And finally, ever wished your shades could transform into prescription glasses with just a swipe of the frame? Well, that's sort of what US firm 32 Degrees North have done. They've created liquid lens sunglasses, which change into reading glasses, magnifying the center of each lens to help with things like books and menus. They don't strictly correct near or far-sightedness, and they don't change opacity like some transition sunglasses do. So it appears they're really aimed at middle-aged people and older on holiday in the sun who don't want to swap to their reading glasses in the restaurant, all for the meagre price of $849. You're up to date. Come back at 4 o'clock and search for The Standard Podcast for the latest news and analysis. We are back tomorrow afternoon at 1. See you then.